really only have two choices. You can make excuses or make progress, and you can't have both. I am not going to cheat. I'm not going to cheat my health. I'm not going to cheat my body. You have to understand that they were not taught this. Now I'm realizing, in my opinion, this is like the holy grail. This is the answer. It just makes me sad to feel how much of my life I literally feel I wasted money, wasted time, wasted health.
Hey carnivores, welcome back to the channel. It's me, Bella the Steak and Butter Gal. Let me know how you all are doing on your carnivore journeys down below in the comments. Dr. Wiedeman is a 15-year carnivore and an eye doctor as well. And she will be sharing invaluable advice and knowledge that every single carnivore could truly benefit from. I did want to share that Dr. Wiedeman will be a guest speaker in the Steak and Butter Gang community. She'll be visiting in the upcoming 30-day carnivore challenge and answering all of the member questions, as well as speaking on topics that are requested. For more details on what it means to be a member in the SBG community and also to attend Dr. Wiedeman's live Q&A, make sure you check out the URL shown on the screen, sbgmeetup.com, or click the links down below. I am here in Riverton, Wyoming with the Dr. Lisa Wiedeman. She is a 15-year carnivore. I have some questions for you. There's so much to learn from you, and you are one of the first carnivores that inspired me to go carnivore, so thank you.
Oh, that's so nice to hear.
My first question is, how did you stumble across this lifestyle?
Oh my gosh, Bella. I have had such a long, very difficult background of sugar, carb addiction, and disordered eating for over 30 years. And I say it probably started when I was about 6 years old and I got an easy bake oven.
Oh, wow.
And it just, you know, addictions always worsen. I didn't realize it was an addiction, but I did understand over time I had very secretive behavior, you know, waiting for people to leave, waiting to be by myself, hiding wrappers, you know, different things that are just really demoralizing. And I just couldn't understand it, but I couldn't talk about it because, you know, it's not something you really want to talk about. And so as time went on, I just kept trying to figure it out. I was doing paleo, I was doing Schwarzbein principle. I was starting to find a bit of what the answer was, because I realized eliminating sugar and grains was definitely a step in the right direction. But then, of course, with paleo, you could eat fruit. And then I recognized in myself I would have a quart of strawberries, and as I cleaned them, every other one went in my mouth. I'm cleaning these strawberries for my kids, and then I end up with this little bowl. I could binge on dried apricots. I mean, I could binge on nuts, and that would lead me down the slippery slope and back where I was. When I look back, it just makes me sad to feel how much of my life I literally feel I wasted. Wasted money, wasted time, wasted health. I ended up, fortunately, just searching online, because that's when the internet kind of came to be. No Facebook, no YouTube, no Instagram at that point, but there were forums. And I was just fortunate enough to find a forum called Zeroing In on Health with Charles Washington. Whatever I happened to search and pulled his forum up, there was women on there who were writing in their little thread that they resolved themselves of disordered eating. And there was people resolving themselves of diabetes and depression and anxiety and obesity. And I thought, okay, all right, well, this is really weird. These people are only eating meat and drinking water. And really? Okay, I'm going to jump in and I will continue to research, because I'm like, you know, I'm a medical professional. I've been an eye doctor for over 33 years, and I don't take things lightly like that. But heck, if this was going to resolve my big, overwhelming problem, and I was in there able to talk about it for the first time in my life, I was all in. And as I did it, we all would share different things like Villamar Stephenson, Fat of the Land, Not by Bread Alone, the writings of Owsley the Bear Stanley. We were really just having great intellectual conversations. I was doing it. I'm feeling better. I'm reading everybody else improving. And I thought, holy smokes, there's something to this. And just kept going. I got to the point where I said, I want to shout it from the rooftops, because now I'm realizing, in my opinion, this is like the holy grail. This
Right.
is the answer.
Mm-hmm.
And it, like I said, resolving gut issues, skin issues. So many people had so many different things. And I thought, how could this be wrong?
Yeah.
Back then I was 44. I'll be 60 this year.
Wow.
If only I had found this when I was 20. Because people come and say, gosh, I wish I found this long ago like you did. And I said, well, trust me, when I found it, I was wishing I found it long ago too.
Yeah.
It's so incredible to think that people could heal from lifelong issues. I became very passionate to try to help as many as I can. I said, if I can help one person out of the hellhole that I was in, I said that all the work I do is worth it.
You've already helped like tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands by now, including myself. I found carnivore when I was 22 because of accounts like you. And I'm so grateful because a lot of young women like me, we struggle with cystic acne. We struggle with amenorrhea and mood swings all the time. And so I also agree, like I'm shouting it from the rooftops because I saw you do it first. So I think it's so important that you're so bold and honest with your journey. I would love to know, for those who don't know that they're addicted to food, what are some signs that may show that they may be?
There's a spectrum of it and a level of it that you can probably recognize in everybody. Some people say, oh, I'm not addicted to sugar. Yet every single day they're putting sweetener in their coffee. It's in mayonnaise, it's in salad dressing, and you don't realize how much it's there. But people will say, you can't be addicted to food. That's ridiculous. Everybody needs food to live. That's not possible.
Right.
Oh, yes, it is very possible. And it's more addictive than heroin and cocaine. Recognizing for yourself different foods. Say to yourself, do I have sober behavior with this? I don't have sober behavior with a ball of fresh mozzarella, even though it's technically carnivore. And I realized over time, I slice off the ends, because that's the best part. And then I keep going. And then I might get myself to wrap it up and put it away. And I feel like it calls my name. And that, to me, is one of the ways to understand your behavior around food. And I just love the term. It's not sober behavior for me to not be hungry, get up off my chair, and go into that refrigerator and eat more cheese. Nuts are like crazy addictive to me.
Same.
And dried apricots. I mean, I could just keep going on. And some people, it's bread. But when you chew bread, amylase enzyme in your mouth is starting immediately to break it down into sugars. So people don't realize, like they just think, oh, it's a sugar addiction or chocolate addiction, whatever. It's basically a carbohydrate addiction because all carbs are going to break down into the components of sugar. I could go on because there's a whole new side to this as far as the microbiome, and that since we feed it carbohydrates, that those carbohydrates continue to cause you to crave it, and you have to kill them off, let them die off by eating delicious fatty meat and eliminating the carbs.
Amazing. For those who are wanting to take that first baby step to be carb sober, sugar free, what are your recommendations? Just to eat more fatty meat?
Really is ideal to do cold turkey because you don't tell an alcoholic just to have light beer for a while or to wean off by having just, a shot of vodka, just on Saturdays. You have to abstain from something that you don't have sober behavior around. It could be really tough for a couple weeks, but you have to tell yourself, do I want health? And everything that you put in your mouth, is it leading to health or is it leading to harm? There's really only two choices. You have to do a lot of research to understand why this is an ideal way. Understand that it's healthy. Understand that you're not going to give yourself a heart attack eating fatty meat. Because until you do that, you're always going to end up making an excuse. You give yourself permission. Oh, I was at a party. You're out with friends socially, on a vacation. That's the quickest way to just convince yourself you're going to go back to it. I've coached so many people, and the problem with cheating, can I have a cheat meal? Cheat meals turn into cheat weekends, turn into cheat months and cheat years. I've had so many people. You're just cheating your body, you're cheating yourself of health. And it's that serious and that important, because if not, you are going to yo-yo back and forth in and out of this over and over until you understand the importance of abstinence.
Dr. Wiedeman will be a guest speaker in the Steak and Butter Gang community. She'll be visiting in the upcoming 30-day Carnivore Challenge and answering all of the member questions, as well as speaking on topics that are requested. For more details on what it means to be a member in the SBG community and also to attend Dr. Wiedeman's live Q&A, make sure you check out the URL shown on the screen, sbgmeetup.com, or click the links down below.
The opposite of addiction is community. Is that what you said? I want you to speak a little bit about that.
Anybody struggling is going to succeed by becoming part of a community. My community was that little group on zeroing in on health. Honestly, I do not feel I could be anywhere without that. I look forward in the evening to get to it and connect. And that's what it is, connection. As humans, we want to connect. We want to feel like we belong. And trust me, when you start to fly your freak flag and eat only meat, fatty meat at that, and no fruit and vegetable, you all of a sudden you get people who are rolling their eyes at you. Yes. You get people who are what I call naysayers. We as humans, we want to feel like we belong. When you're around friends, family, and coworkers who don't get it, who have no reason of their own, or so they think, to want to understand this or come to this also, you feel like an outsider, and you shouldn't, because you're doing for yourself what is best for you, and you need to join in with other people who have that same goal, or it's a very quick, easy way to fail. Your ditch demon in there who wants you back at the cookies, the ice cream, the bread, the pizza, the pasta. You know, we could go on and on of our favorite DOC, the drug of choice, right? But unless you have others that are in support of what you're doing and you're able to just communicate and feel normal. And without that, this is a very difficult path.
You're a very social person. And I'm assuming that you're not just social with carnivores. How was that, especially early on for you, to actually go through that challenge?
The strength of having, the best way to say is my tribe,
Right, yes.
Is stay connected with them, because then that gave me the strength when I was with the others who didn't get it, who didn't have any desire to try to get it.
Right.
I felt strong enough to say, you know what? Oh, thank you for your concern, but I really feel good, and this is right for me. I don't feel good when I eat those foods. There's all sorts of different things I kind of just learned to say that empowered me to say, you know what? I need to be selfish and say, I need to do this for me. It doesn't matter whether you think I need to eat fruit and vegetable, right? Everybody's, thinking like you're crazy. Yeah. But you know what? Nobody was concerned when I was eating ice cream and cookies and pizza, right? People really have a very hard time grasping this, and it's okay, because you know what? We do not owe anybody an explanation. Yeah. We just don't. So it's okay that they don't understand. What I'm doing is the best for me. I will continue to have an open mind. I will research continually. Because there's so much conflicting information. It's so difficult. I should fast. I shouldn't fast.
Right.
I need electrolytes. You don't need electrolytes.
Right.
You got to have organs. I don't need organs. Yeah. And on and on. So you have your own questions, but you just continue to have a healthy desire to keep learning and analyzing things, and just keep being your own N=1 experiment. I just am so passionate about hosting meetups to bring people together. It's so magical. It's so empowering. That face-to-face, the touch, the hugs.
Right here.
It's amazing.
We're
I
together.
just love it, and it excites me. Critically, we have to understand that without having this connection, the addiction is extremely difficult to overcome.
So let's say somebody's struggling with their own doctor. And since you're a doctor yourself, what would you advise someone who's new to carnivore and they're getting that shock, scare speech from their doctor saying, absolutely not, I don't support this, you're going to, raise your cholesterol. What do you suggest this patient say to their doctor?
Goodbye. You need to get a new doctor. And I try to steer people toward, there are some resources. Go on to lowcarbpractitioner.com. I'm very optimistic that because this does seem to be spreading further,
Yes.
that more and more doctors are coming on board. Your doctor who, let's say, you look up to and trust, and you have to understand that they were not taught this. They're really trained to find the ill and write the pill.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much a sad state of, we have a sick care system instead of a health care system.
If you're watching this video, you would like help from Dr. Lisa, I will make sure to link all of her support groups, retreats coming up, socials down below in the description box. You are known in the community for looking so sexy at now age 60, and you're so active, you're so flexible and capable. For all the women who want to look like you at your age or be like you, what are your top 5 foods first that you eat every single day?
Wow, 5 foods, that's way too many. Anybody who feels like you can relate to what I'm saying here with non-sober behavior around foods, sugar, carb, processed food addiction, I find so much freedom in limiting my food selection. An incredible amount. Do I think everybody has to do it? No, but it might be something really worthwhile to try. Sometimes do it as a reset. It becomes so empowering to be able to control, because you know what you're going to eat. You know it's going to be satiating. Ground beef and eggs for meal 1 and a steak for meal 2. And you repeat. It's not boring. You know what's boring is waiting online at the pharmacy for a prescription, waiting in the waiting room for a doctor. I am not bored with my food. My meal on repeat are things that I love. There's a huge amount of value also to trying the lion diet, ruminant meat, salt and water. Because guess what? It takes out the entertainment of food. You're not eating out of boredom. You're not eating out of anxiety, frustration, procrastination. People say, but I have this bad snacking habit at night. All right, well, make yourself another burger then. And people are like, well, I don't want a burger. Well, then you're really not hungry. You can really learn a lot of things from doing things like the sardine challenge, from fasting, from the lion diet. There's so many things that you can learn. It's very difficult to keep listening to what everybody else is saying about certain things. Do it for yourself.
I would love to know what your thoughts are on fasting, long-term fasting, maybe intermittent fasting as well. Is this something that one can find helpful to combine with carnivore?
You have to experience it to really try to understand what benefit you're going to get out of it. I really feel there's amazing things from anti-inflammatory aspect of it, autophagy, getting into ketosis for some people, for the mental clarity, for the fat burning. There's so many things that you can get from it, but don't go crazy and don't start thinking that you have to jump in and do it perfect. Be cautious of where you are at in your journey with this, especially if you come from a disordered eating background. It can trigger some to binge, like, I didn't eat for 48 hours. Game on, let's bring it. There has to be a point where you realize that you're ready for it. You're keto adapted, you're fat adapted, then try intermittent fasting, try stretching it, go to 24 hours. That's usually a big feat for most people. There's ways to just ease yourself in it. And one of the biggest things, though, is understanding that why are we eating? Because a lot of times it's to fill an emotional void. We eat often for the wrong reasons. And when you are just at that point where you're still getting through cravings, hard-boiled eggs, put them in a jar of pickle juice and have that anytime you get a craving, anytime you're trying to fight off nuts, nut butter, sweetener, go ahead and binge on them. You really won't binge on them, because when you get to about the 4th one, you're going to be like, pickles, hard-boiled eggs are really good. And it's something that instead of saying, I'm not going to slide down that slope into the ditch, take out the pickled eggs and chop them up with some softened butter in there. And it will really stop those cravings. Whatever you do, binging on bacon, binging on that egg combo I just said, it's a pound of bacon is better than a single bite of cookie. You have to think that way, and you have to think, I am not going to cheat. I'm not going to cheat my health. I'm not going to cheat my
right.
body. You really only have two choices. You can make excuses or make progress, and you can't have both. I know if you're watching this, you can tell that yo-yo thing. You're really good. You drop a little weight. Next thing you know, oops, where are you? And it's that back and forth that you have to understand has to stop, or else you're not going to make progress.
Speaking of being new to a carnivore lifestyle, something that happens to a lot of new carnivores is electrolyte imbalance. Symptoms that are telltale signs of electrolyte imbalance include headaches, nausea, fatigue, lower energy in the gym, and also muscle cramping. What you can do to test if it is in fact electrolyte imbalance is to first just salt all of your meals a little bit more generously. If your muscle cramps or headaches still don't go away, it might be worth leaning on a very high quality electrolyte supplement. This is the brand that I always recommend. It's from Element, specifically this blue teal colored box. It is labeled raw unflavored because it is literally unflavored. There's no stevia. It's just the 3 ingredients our body needs: sodium, potassium, and magnesium. Here's what each of the little packets look like. They're super handy and small, so you can throw it in whatever bag you want to travel with. You just rip one open, pour it in whatever you're drinking, mix it up, drink it down, and you're good to go. You all can get a free sample pack that does include the raw unflavored with any purchase if you go to the URL shown on the screen, drinklmnt.com/SBGAL. I've also linked them down below.
Love that you're into what I like to coin as priming. It's okay to eat as much as possible until you just don't want to. Early on in your journey, you probably had a hard time fasting or didn't even want to think about doing that. But later on, as you felt more nourished, did you ever get to a point where it was easier?
I know you have this, the whole coaching system with the fasting. I think there's so much benefit for a lot of different reasons, especially coming from a background of really a disordered relationship with food. I did not like the feeling of fasting. I did not like feeling hungry. Anytime I would do it, I did find I was overeating coming out of it. I was like, all right, bring it on. I'm just hungry.
Like yo-yo fasting.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
can get there with fasting.
And that wasn't good for me, but in this now over 15 years, and I actually just recently tried to experience a dry fast, and I've done it twice now. First time I thought, well, this might have been a fluke, but I found it so much easier than water fasting. I thought I would be so parched, so thirsty, and be miserable, but it was the opposite. I had a level of about a 2 out of 10 of thirst. It was no big deal. Hunger pangs were much less. People say, well, why are you even bothering to fast? I've heard it can tank your hormones, and it's bad for women who are menopausal, and it's this and it's that. You know what? You experience it yourself through so much research and understanding of autophagy and the anti-inflammatory effects of it, the beneficial effects for so many different reasons. I said, you know what? I'm going to have an open mind, even though my past experience with it is not so great. I always just said, I'm not really a fan of being hungry.
I remember you said that.
Yeah, I just think it makes it so much better when you do things like a sardine challenge, a lion diet challenge, or a fasting challenge, because the information that you get from that is so beneficial in stepping you up toward getting to your goal. One of the big things that has to be understood at the beginning, it really is a struggle because you are used to rewarding yourself with food. You've got into a pattern where you know that getting a bag of chips in front of the TV makes you feel good, right? And you have to understand that you need to break that pattern. So at the beginning, it is a struggle. You have to learn that you need to reward yourself in another way. The struggle continues until you really start changing that relationship with food. Even 15 years in, I was so severely in a disordered binging cycle, volume eating, that it's very difficult to think that that's just gone. It's not gone. I don't struggle anymore, but I battle it. I always feel like I have a shield up, a sword out. I always make sure I'm going to have a plan. I always think about it. It's okay to battle it because I'm strong. I've got knowledge. I can do that. The struggle is over, and the struggle will end when you have that empowered feeling where you know what you're doing is healthy, that's really critical too for this, because I feel so many people are sort of hesitant, like, I think it's good, but everybody around me is telling me it's not, but these people on the internet are saying it's good, and you go wishy-washy back and forth. Well, that's the quickest way into the ditch, because you're not truly trusting your knowledge about this. The best way to succeed is when you have your community and you really think about conflicting information that you're getting, and you take a direction with it. You say, I'm going to try this, and you see what your own experience is.
Dr. Wiedeman right here, she's such a reliable source of information. I know you do amazing meetups, retreats. If people wanted personal help or to meet you, what would you like to share?
I do, on a limited basis, true one-on-one coaching, but in my coaching group, I keep them very small, so I talk with everybody at every meeting, and I meet 4 or 5 times a week. I host beach retreats at my home where I take people in for 5 days, and you are immersed in my life. It's morning sunrise beach walks and all sorts of cooking demos. And I'm doing winter beach retreats. I am having a carb sober cruise that I love having people join in. We do all sorts of Q&As. I hope I can get others to join in. And it just to empower yourself to say, you know what, for once, I'm not going to go off track on vacation and then try to crawl out of that carb ditch when I get home, because it's so hard once you get back home, because now you're already in the swing of it. Really just to gather people together. I just think that is really one of the most important things.
Speaking of Dr. Wiedeman's amazing meetups and retreats, I and my husband will be going on Dr. Wiedeman's Carnivore Cruise. It's also called the Carb Sober Cruise, and it will happen February of 2025. If you're curious about all the details and to possibly join us on this Carnivore Cruise, I'll make sure to link the registration and details page down below in the description box. Round of applause to Dr. Wiedeman. Thank you for paving the way for us.
We love you. We love you.
Thank you. If you enjoyed everything that Dr. Wiedeman shared and you want to ask her your personal questions or to learn from her directly, Dr. Wiedeman will be a guest speaker in the Steak and Butter Gang community. Not only is it the best meat-eating carnivore community, I always invite on the best guest speakers, carnivore experts, doctors, and veterans to help all the members out. To not miss Dr. Wiedeman's live Q&A, join us by signing up for our upcoming challenge at sbgmeetup.com. If you want a clickable link, it's down below in the description box. I did want to share something that I have been incorporating every single evening in my daily life, and that is wearing blue blockers. This is my current favorite one. It is from Bon Charge, and I specifically like the red colored ones for its maximum protection. They're very lightweight, you can adjust the nose rest, and I think they look really good. Blue blockers are awesome because they're so great at protecting your eyes against that harsh blue light. When you stare at blue light for hours on end, especially when it's nighttime and dark outside, you are risking not being able to produce enough melatonin to fall asleep easily and to stay asleep throughout the night. So wearing blue blockers every single evening as a daily habit really helps improve the quality of sleep and keep you asleep. If you're interested in investing in a pair of blue blockers for yourself, or if you want to gift it for your loved ones, you all can use my discount code SBGAL for 15% off your order. I'll make sure to link Bon Charge down below in the description box. All right, thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you in my next one. SBG out.